heal myself back in the day. We won't say how long ago that was, but so obviously it started well before I even noticed it. So in my adult years, probably like in my early 20s, I got to a point where I stopped dancing. I was dancing for a hip hop company after I graduated college, and I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know why, it just happened. And then I started to fall into a deep depression and had like horrible panic attacks just out of nowhere. Started. I've always had anxiety, but it was horrible. Like I almost put myself in a mental institution because I was so depressed and couldn't function. So I ended up going on medication. And then I honestly don't even remember how I found Reiki. It might have been my mother-in-law, because she's into this too. And this is when I was first dating my husband. And I found a class. Like I just searched and found someone local here. And I didn't even know what it was. And I just had a knowing of like, I need to take this.
Yeah. So what is Reiki for those of us who don't really know, right?
Good question. So that's the question. It's hard for us Reiki practitioners and masters to even describe it. I always say like you have to try it for yourself. But and I wrote it down because this is like the best way to describe energy healing, which is what Reiki is. It's a traditional healing system that restores the balance and flow of energy throughout the body, mind, and spirit. It works directly with the physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects of well-being. It is used to treat various medical conditions, especially ailments associated with mental health. So what that means is Reiki is it's an energy healing modality. We're all energy. Everything's energy, right? So basically, in a nutshell, Reiki helps to manipulate the energy in your body to remove any negative energy, because we always take on negative energy from other people, from whatever our emotions are causing. Like our emotions are what cause dis-ease in the body. So dis-ease and disease, if you look further into it, whatever you're going through could be causing whatever it is that you're going through physically.
Right.
Reiki is awesome for like stress relief and like if you're feeling overwhelmed in life, like it's just one of those things where like if you don't have meditation, you better get a Reiki
Yeah.
session. It'll help calm you, and it'll just manipulate like the energy in your body and just move out the negative and bring in the positive.
That's so interesting. I've never had Reiki. So I've done, well, okay. So I did have Reiki. I guess she's kind of a Reiki healer. I talked to someone who's a Reiki healer, but she also was kind of more like a medium.
Okay.
So that was kind of an interesting intersection.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know some people who are Reiki healers, but it seems like there's so much difference in between people who say that they practice Reiki and like the ways that they practice and what they do.
Right.
Is that common?
It is, because it's like when you take a Reiki course, like to get certified in it and to get attuned, it's like anything. You end up like you get the step-by-step instructions on how you do it, but really you go by like how you're guided, like intuition, to
Interesting.
run a session or anything like that. And it kind of just becomes your own, and you practice it in different ways. And yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you can practice it, or that, I'm so different from maybe another practitioner. But it's funny that you mentioned like the person was a medium, because Reiki can open up those senses when you become attuned to it. Like the more you practice Reiki, the more it helps you open up to that.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I think it's so fascinating. I don't know. There are some people that say like they can't do it unless they're in person with you, and I don't know. Like, what does it feel like to get Reiki? I think that does it.
What does
Can
it
you
feel
feel
like?
it in your body?
So it's different for everybody. Some people will feel different sensations, like vibrations, like thumping, or feel like a fluid type feeling. Other people will see colors, or like see images. What else have people told me? They and there's sometimes where people won't feel anything, and that definitely doesn't mean that it's not working. It's like I said, everybody's different. Reiki will go wherever it needs to go and heal whatever it needs to heal. And then it's different. Like for me, I also have different sensations when I'm working on somebody. And
Oh
it can,
yeah, huh.
yeah. So I'll have like different, like my hands get really hot, like really hot. That's why they call it like the healing hands modality, because once you're attuned, your hands just start to like vibrate and you can feel it like when it's activating, you know? Yeah,
Wow.
it's interesting. It's
That
really
is
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think, it seems like the way that you're talking about Reiki and the way that it's different in different people, it's almost like the way that creativity manifests in different people.
Yeah,
Does that resonate with you?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reiki has opened up like a whole new world for me, you know? When I first found Reiki, I used it on myself because when you first, uh, there's 3 different levels. So the first level, you learn all about Reiki and like its history, and then you use it on yourself before you can move on to level 2, because the healer has to, start healing themselves first. Um, and it opened me up to so much more. That's when I found angels. That's when I started doing angel readings. And
Yeah, that's
before
awesome.
that, I had no idea what the heck angel cards were.
Yeah, so talk more about that too, because I want to
Yeah.
talk about the angels. I want to talk about dancing and how that's connected to. We'll circle back around to that. But yeah, so let's talk about the angel cards and angels and how that all plays into it too.
Sure, yeah. So when I first found Reiki, I think it was back in 2009 when I, was like depressed and anxiety and all that stuff. I used it on myself for a little bit. I fell away from it. Um, I got back into dancing. I started teaching full time. I was teaching at all different preschools in the area, and I would go and like teach like little kids, little mini classes. I thought I
So
found
how
my
did you get back into dancing though? So
I was led back to it. Like I was like, I know, I need to dance. Like all of a sudden it was like, I just need to move. There's something missing. So dancing was always a part of my life. And I think for 2 years I was away from it. And then I got right back into it. I started just taking classes, and then eventually was led to a job where I was teaching it full time. Um,
that's awesome.
and when that job ended, it was like another traumatic time in my life. And I hadn't done Reiki the whole time, because again, dance. I was like, oh, dance is all I need. Um, and it's funny how things happen. So we came to like a traumatic time. My husband lost his job. I was making $400 a week teaching dance. We were fine until he lost his job. Then I had to go back to what I say, the real world. So I literally had a nervous breakdown because I did not want to go back to the insurance world. And I prayed,
Mm.
and I am not a very religious person, but I fell to my knees and I prayed. Um, and the next day, I got an email on how to use angel cards for yourself and for others. And I was like, what the heck are angel cards? I'm so intrigued right now. So I watched the video and I ran out and got my first deck of angel cards. So that was the first thing. Like it was just like a sign, like, okay, I need this. I need guidance in my life. I don't know where to turn. I started using them on myself. The angel cards actually led me back to Reiki, because there was like a
Wow.
card in there about energy healing and like holistic stuff. And I was like, oh, I need to start doing Reiki. And I think I got a card like something about you're a healer. Like you need to
Wow.
start going back to being you're a healer.
Chills. I just got
Yeah.
chills. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I
Wow.
know. It's just I still like it's crazy. It's been a long time since then, but so then I started practicing Reiki, and then it led me to giving angel card readings. I connected more with angelic energy. So I don't consider myself a medium because I can connect with past loved ones and stuff like that, but the angels are my thing because angels are all about healing and guidance and just love. And that's exactly what Reiki is about. It'll help to guide you in your life journey. It'll help to
Yeah.
heal wherever you're going through at that time. So
So you said like a couple times through your journey and kind of describing it that you were led. What does that process look like for you? What does that feel like? Have you always been open to that feeling of being led? Like how does that happen?
I was not open to it always, especially as a teenager. You don't want anyone to tell you what to do. um, Still now, but still, I don't know, how was I led? So I guess when I started Reiki, that is when the process started, where I started to feel more open to following like my gut. I always go back to like intuition, like we all have it, and it's just a matter of whether we're listening to it or not. So that started to just open up like that feeling and that knowingness. I can say though, I have known all my life that I was meant to do so much more. Like I'm meant to help others. I'm meant to like do a lot and help the world. I've always had that feeling, but I always shut it down because I was like, that's never going to happen. How am I going to do it?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Like starting Reiki opened me up. I found the angels. And then when I started practicing and doing like meditations to open that up, I just felt like even more guided. Like answers just kept coming, whether I was meditating. For me, when I'm dancing or when I'm driving is when ideas come to me. And then
Yeah.
you
No,
just
I
have
think
to
a lot of us
either, yeah. So
have
you,
those kinds of moments where like something there's things that we do that, especially driving, because it's so like monotonous almost, like
yeah,
your routine kind of engaging yourself in a different way, I think. Is
yeah,
that kind of how you feel about it too?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's the trajectory with dancing too? Like how does dancing fit into the story too?
Well, along this journey of Reiki and angels and all this woo woo fun stuff,
Good stuff, all the good
yeah,
things.
yeah. I was driving one day during my job and I had a vision of me and a bunch of women in a room just dancing. And I don't remember the vision, but anyway, the thought was combining dance with Reiki or some kind of energy healing and using dance for healing because it was like, you've used it all your life for healing. So why not help others to use it in that way too? So I'm in the process of creating different ways to include like movement and dance to help heal ourselves.
I love that so
Yeah.
much. I know that there are a couple of dancers in the group, so I hope that they are listening or watching the replay. And we'll definitely put all of your info in the comments for this live. And if you guys have any questions that are watching, I can see we have at least 5 watchers, viewers right now. So if you have any questions, I'm monitoring the comments. So hi, Brandy, good to see you. If you have any questions or comments for Cheryl, just type them in and we can definitely address them now too. But so I guess my next question is, how do people, follow in, I mean, they're not going to follow in your footsteps exactly because you've got so many different things going on, different interests and creative passions that feed into each other and relate. And I want to make sure that people can get in touch with you to get your specific feel of that. And maybe, talk about readings and all of that kind of stuff too, because I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about what you do in your group? It's every day, right? Like every day during the week with the
Uh,
card readings.
yeah. So what I do, I share it on my personal Facebook page too.
Oh, okay. All right.
um, I pull a card. I do a card, like a daily card reading, I call it. And I pull a card Monday through Friday. I post a message. And it's really just, I always just ask for guidance for whoever needs to see it. So I pick a card, I post it, and then, I mean, if you follow me, you'll probably start receiving or seeing these messages as you need to see them. That's basically how it works.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're really inspiring every day. She posts some early in the morning, early enough that, you know, you can have them and read them early enough to have them inspire your day. So I think that's really cool too. We do have a couple of comments. Christina says, I think dance would be a great way to work on healing body image issues.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's,
I need that too.
yeah, yeah. And then Brandy asked, I missed the beginning. Did you take formal Reiki classes? If so, where?
Yes, I did. I took formal Reiki classes here in New Jersey. Um, I found like a local Reiki master, but I have also taken Reiki classes online at udemy.com. There will be some Reiki people out in the world that will tell you that you cannot learn Reiki online. I am one of the ones that disagree, because I experienced it. Yes, I was already attuned to it. I took it online to get my master's, my Reiki master's level. Um, and the attunement was done at a distance. I do a lot of healing distantly, because I have clients all over the world. So you can find, classes, decent classes online. And it's, now where we are today, it's even more accepted to be doing formal classes online.
Yeah, that is, it's so cool that you've got clients all over the world. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so cool. So my next question for you is, what can you tell people who are interested in, you know, becoming a healer, potentially taking classes in Reiki? Like, do you think that it's important for them to do their base, I don't know, level 1, is that what you call it? Level
Yeah,
1 in person? Like, do you think that they should have some element in person? Or do you think it's fine for them to do all online? Like, what are some tips and tricks and how-tos of kind of becoming a healer if people are drawn to that?
well, I would say, at first, I would say look into the different modalities that are out there, because Reiki is not the only healing modality. There's IET, integrative energy therapy. I'm a practitioner in that too,
Oh my
but
goodness.
Reiki is
We'll
my
have to
main
have you come
thing.
back and talk about all these different things.
But there's definitely a ton out there, so I would research it, and you'll find, like, some people are just really drawn to Reiki, and then others are drawn to IET more, or whatever else it is. Just look into it, and go with what your gut is telling you. Um, then my next suggestion would be to just find someone that's already been doing it and talk to them. Ask them more. Most of us are more than willing to answer any questions, give you any kind of feedback that you want. um, and as far as like doing it in person, again, it's all about what feels good to you. Me personally, I'm glad that I did it in person, because when you're learning Reiki, you're learning different hand positions, and I'm a visual person, and I like to, like, see it and then do it on myself. And then in level 2 is where you learn to practice on others. um, so it's like it's easier when you're actually seeing someone do it and walking you through it. At least that's for me, because like I said, I'm a visual learner. So if I'm watching someone, doing it while I'm practicing on someone, then, but online they also have like the handouts, and they have really, really great like pictures of where to put your hands and descriptions and stuff like that. So I'm always all about whatever resonates with you, you know.
Yeah, that's some great suggestion. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, it's a really good idea, especially to reach out to people that are already doing it and kind of get their perspective. I think that's
Yeah,
really important to do for sure.
yeah, it helps a lot.
So, the last question that I want to ask, that I think I'm going to be asking everyone, but this is our very first time doing this. So the question is, what does it mean to you to live creatively?
Well, first of all, it means to me to just never stop learning, never stop feeding that. I call it the creativity bug, because we all have it. There's for me, I want to learn everything. I know I can't, but I can, like, one at a time. So just never stop learning, never stop, never diminish um, that feeling to want to keep moving forward, keep learning new things, keep improving yourself. um, following what you feel called to do. Because if you're in the group, you're all about creativity. Just living your creative life is just following your heart and listening to that guidance, because we all have it within us. That message that you need to hear, it's within you. You just need to get quiet and listen.
Oh, so good. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this today with me, Cheryl. I think this has been really awesome. I'm going to check the comments. It doesn't look like we have any more questions right now, but I will tag you in the replay if people have questions in the replay. And we will definitely share your information so people can join your group and contact you with any further questions if they need to, if you're okay with that, on the feed ideally. And this was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.